Hello, and welcome back to the Smite Pro League. I'm Tom, and that's going to be Toli, and we've got two more exciting matches coming to you. Well, we've got three, but two are going to be North American, starting off with Monkey Madness and Noble.
Noble is one of these teams that have been switching their rosters a little bit, still needs to find their identity. New jungler, new solo laner. Last week, not the best start for them. They lost 0-2, so they need to pick things up here against Monkey Madness.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough task, though. Monkey Madness, certainly a strong team. They did relatively well in week number 1, and as we head into week number 2, should also be interesting as well. So let's head to picks and bans and see what's going on there. Monkey Madness versus Noble. Noble's going to have the second choice.
Interesting to see here what's going to be coming out of Monkey Madness with Ganesha now being allowed. A lot of these teams are starting to ban it away, and we're going to probably see more often than not the same situation. Ganesha is one of these guys that provides you a lot of control in the laning phase and in team fights.
Yeah, Osiris, easy first ban right here. Osiris, Bologna, that was one that I was expecting as well. These characters very, very strong with Death Toll at the moment. We saw yesterday on the patch notes that won't be the case for long, but at the moment, Death Toll certainly really benefiting our Cleave characters. So those two are going to be off the board. And Susano, also a character very strong, very one of Skeeledon's go-tos, so taken away from Noble's jungler.
We saw just how powerful he was with the Susano and a lot of other gods as well when he was here in Georgia playing under Oxygen Supremacy, making a very impressive 7-2 run in that gauntlet.
Ganesha will be banned out as well. The Guardian, very popular here. Jigz has been very vocal about Ganesh and his relative strength level, so obviously you want to ban against Jigz in general. Jigz will take Fafnir for the support role. A character is very adept at really speeding up when it comes to objectives and just overall being troublesome in the late game when it comes to damage, but sticking with that damage idea is Noble in the mid lane with Thoth.
Thoth is a good god to go against Fafnir because you create yourself a lot of distance and separation that you don't have to be necessarily too close to the Fafnir, where he's going to be jumping on you, throwing his hammer. He is also another one of these great gods that has a lot of good objective control around these team fights that's going to throw those suns.
Yeah, Thoth has a single target ultimate. Now, obviously, it hits multiple people if you line it up right, but theoretically, if everybody's spacing and playing correctly, it's a single target. Hou-Yi kind of complements that by being an area of effect and really zoning, like you said, owning a portion of the map. And so Nemesis and Hades, who also does that very well, we've seen him banned and not really picked so much. So I'm really excited to see this one work out. Monkey Madness's mid laner, Andy, is likely where this is going to go.
Hades needs some more compliments here for Monkey Madness to force out some more purification beads. By himself alone, he's going to force the purification beads, and who else is going to really capitalize on it? So Monkey Madness needs to find a way to complement with it. Now, with Fafnir being locked in, Fafnir is not one of these guys that's going to force out the Aegis necessarily, but he will force out those Aegises. For
sure. And Khepri will just really save the life of anybody that gets into too much trouble. Cupid overlapping Hades ultimate is problematic. A lot of people, sitting in that Hades ultimate is tough until you beads out, but then you can just dash or jump. Well, with the Cupid, you have to use those beads. So, and also Cupid does what you were talking about, which is, you'll have to use your beads for one ultimate and then sort of get hit by the other. Another guy that really complements Hades would be a guy like Ares. But with Fafnir already selected, that's not really available.
Or Hunbats potentially, but Nemesis as well locked in, so not going to find that there. Ravana being selected for Noble Esports. Their last pick is going to be either the solo lane or the jungler, as Ravana could be flex. More than likely, that will be Ravana in that jungle role. We've been seeing that played very often here in Season 4.
Medusa and Wukong, the final selection, so we don't really get those bead strippers that we were asking for, which means Hades is going to be the primary bead stripper, unless Medusa gets really lucky with a fantastic ultimate. So really got to look out for that Petrify, because the Hades ult is going to be largely used to clean up instead of used for the crowd control here with Monkey Madness, I would say.
But even though, you could still synergize very well with that, because you can have Hades on one side, Medusa catching them on the flank, and with that Petrify, whether or not you find the stun, it'll still slow you down quite heavily.
So Ratatoskr is the final selection for Noble Esports. That'll be the solo laner of choice, unless Robin gets thrown back to the old school and played in the solo lane. Honestly, it could be a toss-up. Let's stop guessing and get right to the business, and you will see Aquarius play that Robin solo as is traditional instead of the new hot flavor of the week which is Ravana jungle, and Skeeledon will play the rat in the jungle.
fineokay soloing his own blue buff, gonna be able to get that one away. A little bit of poke from Aquarius, recognizing that he was going to be left alone in a 1v2 spot, soloing his own blue. Great awareness already from the soul laner out of Monkey Madness.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and snatch that one up. Doesn't even need the hand of the gods, which we usually see in that situation,
But we also, instead of seeing Hand of the God, we see the Bombus Masks, which allows him to clear that jungle camp a little bit faster. And with a very short 10-second cooldown, it was very easy for him to get off 2 abilities during that blue buff.
Wubbn goes ahead and grabs Jigz, and that'll bring both supports down while Wubbn's healing up. But both were down to about half HP, so this lane all about even here. Purple buff already on Wubbn since they invaded, and they'll go ahead and get a second in their own.
Vetium, though, he does have his own red buff. Starting off, a lot of teams have been starting in the dual lane by grabbing their own red buff and then getting into the lane a little bit longer, which allows the opposition. Oh, that Thoth, though, Aquarius taking a lot of damage with a rotation from Homiefe.
Early first blood for M&M right here, nice and quick. The first kill for MM. Goes down to the solo lane thanks to, as you said, the Nemesis rotation.
Great awareness here coming out of Homiefe, really exploiting Aquarius's aggression out of this Ravana. Ravana's not one of these gods that have very easy escapes up until you max out that overhead kick.
I love this punish. Vetium tried to come back for the red buff, and Skeeledon and teammates make him pay. The rest of the dual lane, Wowy and Wubbn, really just piled shots into him. Wowy was just sitting there saying, Vetium, are you really going to take this red buff? And he suffered immensely for it.
There's always a good idea between invading, but there's always a bad idea of picking up that buff. As a hunter player, you can secure it very easily. A lot of action already, still taking a lot of poke, but similar story in soul laners, like you can easily invade the blue buff and drop it on the ground, but by committing inside that little cave area, the enemy has like that 2 to 3 second window to be able to capitalize and find you with that punish.
So Andy's about level 5 here, pushing towards level 6, whereas MLC Stealth is level 3 last time we looked at the mid lane. Probably still about there or just hit level 4 now. What do you think the big difference is here? Why was Andy able to get so much more farm?
The problem here for MLC Stealth is that there's just too many invades against him. He's not been able to really share inside of the jungle, which is why he's staggered.
Ratatoskr misses the knockup. Gonna find some damage, but Vetium lives with about 20%, 25% HP. If Vetium gets knocked up there, that's likely a strong yank, maybe even a kill. But
absolutely,
just Skeeledon misses.
Or even maybe forcing out the Petrify just for more CC immune ultimate. And while you're a Medusa with a passive of 50% movement speed penalty moving backwards, you can still channel your ultimate, turn your character around, and force them to turn around, and you'll have that slight 1 to 2 second window to separate yourself from your opposition.
So right there you can see why Hades has been banned a couple of times. His wave clear is incredible. Once you get that passive on everybody, which can be done by yelling at them with your 2, you can go ahead and detonate them to full clear by level 4, level 5.
Not only do you clear the wave, you also heal your own minions, making it more difficult for the enemy. So if they invest their abilities at level 1 to clear the wave, and then you heal it, now they're going to be sitting under their tower, which is why we see Monkey Madness doing a great job invading the enemy speed buff to start the game off.
So with that, Vetium gonna pick up this red buff. A little bit safer this time. He's in his own jungle. Nobody's coming after him. Like you said, just very, very dangerous play coming out from Vetium, giving him a death above Wowy, which Wowy's certainly not complaining about. Here comes Andy. Great communication and great crowd control. Wubbn stuck in the ult. He'll go ahead and detonate himself, but the Devour Souls is good enough. Andy makes good use of the ultimate, traps in the support, and takes him down.
Wowy with the rotation, forcing Jigz to disengage away from Skeeledon. Nice little save for his jungler, but hold that thought.
He's
the
dead.
solo lane, fineokay, just recharging a little bit of more health before he commits. Not wanting to commit all the way, but finally, Mr. Crush coming through, a lot of damage reduction, the Oxform coming out, and Aquarius getting the better end of that one.
So fineokay, if he doesn't go for the extra life regen, he gets that kill easy peasy. He jumps on the character, follows up with his skills, and then he gets the kill and walks away. But he might die to the tower. That's why we saw him wait and regen and look for that. But because he regen, the player Aquarius was able to walk out of the range of the jump.
And fineokay made the conscious decision between either going in the tower before regaining full health, or wanting to wait before he gets the full 25% health regeneration, and then committing outside between the tier 1 and tier 2. Considering he was level 7 at that time, you can clear the wave anyway, but it was a nice Mystic Rush by Aquarius that juked out that Cudgel to be able to turn the tide and force that Soul Laner out of action. Yeah,
and I like the discipline from fineokay. Going for the risky play, but when it doesn't pay off, just walking away and knowing when to quit while you're ahead. I think you could have argued, yeah, go for the tower dive and find him with the stick, but fineokay played it safe, and at this point in the game, I'm totally fine with that. MM have a 1,000 gold lead, give or take, and it's only 6 minutes in. No reason to really be playing too aggressive.
It's only 2-1 on the scoreboard, but there's just a lot of action already. Aquarius, another victim to Homiefe's rotation. Aquarius getting the worst end of it. Can't really make this Robin in the Soul Lane work as effectively as a lot of junglers can.
I mean, it's one of those things here as the ultimates come out onto the Gold Fury. Andy is available. Devour Souls would blow this up. The dash forward, but he gets grabbed. Andy finds a kill with Devour Souls, pops out the ultimate, and he even gets the Gold Fury. Finds the secondary kill as well. Double kill, ultimate, Gold Fury, Andy, Hades, crazy.
Devourer of Souls, nice beads coming out of andinster, recognizing that he was going to get plucked by Wubbn immediately once he jumped on in there. Homiefe with a nice little rotation again, really punishing Noble for trying to go for such a risky Gold Fury.
That right there, I mean, so that Gold Fury is prime example of why Hades has been banned a little bit here in the summer split. It is a power when it comes to that Devour Souls. It's detonation damage. So he dashes in, and when you get hit by the dash, that means you're already hit by his passive, the Blight. So he's able to hit Devour Souls, his third ability, and he's healing, you're taking damage, you're dealing more damage to your teammates, a la Heart Bomb, and then, of course, you just drop the ult, and everybody just stuck.
And just like that, with what was a 1,000 gold lead, almost 4,000 now, coming out of Monkey Madness, not even 8 minutes into the game. What a play out of andinster. Former jungler making a great transition in this mid lane. Still making these aggressive plays.
That is the Hades player's dream. I mean, when you see all those players grouped up like that, you're like, I'm gonna dash him, I'm gonna hit 3, and it doesn't really work. That time it worked, and I bet you Andy's just sitting there like, Hades. Hades.
That's a signature, just
Hades. And I mean, that's what this character does, and Hades has been a nice focal point of our game because he's so oddball. That's the downside, of course. Characters with dashes can just get on out of there. But I really want to bring attention to the current jungler, to the Nemesis. Homiefe, and I brought this point up yesterday, or rather, it was Tuesday that I did my show, is that when it comes down to talking about jungle mindset, hold that, Andy, not in the jungle anymore, Skeeledon winds up falling. When it comes to jungle mindset, it's all about decision making, right? Look at this fight here in the enemy jungle, Tully. Is this a good decision or not?
No, not after losing andinster. They're committing to the ultimate from Skeeledon allows you to still try to look to be a little bit aggressive. They baited out the ultimate here out of MLC Stealth, and Wubbn's ultimate's down as well, so there's no revive for the top.
And I like that play, fineokay coming around from the back end. I didn't like that play until I saw the flank from fineokay, and that was the idea with Monkey Madness. That was the entire idea. There was method to the Monkey Madness there, in the sense that the guys came and it was a bad fight, and everybody knew it was a bad fight. I asked you the question. That's one of those questions I don't know the answer to when I ask you the question. So Noble sit there and go, why are they doing this? This is terrible. And they get in position to fight, and then the flank comes from around the back, fineokay, and that's why it was so bad, because they had help coming in the wings. It was an entire bait for the solo rotation.
Yeah, with the ultimate from Skeeledon being down, as well as the Sunder from Wobbn on the Khepri, it was an easy decision for Monkey Madness to start grouping up, and with the 2-level lead here for fineokay, he has a Sunder of his own. He finished off this Breastplate of Valor, and this Bombus Mask pickup that he has been definitely assisting him quite easily here as he's making all these jungle rotations.
Yeah, fineokay is a guy that really thinks about the ins and outs of the solo lane, the intricacies of the solo lane. You know, play not a lot of, I shouldn't say that, but we don't get to see the thought process of the players a lot. right? Players like Divios, players like, I mean, even, you know, non-pro players out there that make content, we see their ins and outs of their thought process, and fineokay shows us that as well. He doesn't go bump his mask on every character in every situation. This was a very specific thought process as to why he picked up the Bumbas.
And some Wukong is a god that heavily favors it with such short cooldowns of 10 seconds on both your Master's Will and your Cudgel. Skeeledon in the sky, looking for something, but he just got everyone off that portal demon.
And that's a win kind of for both teams. Skeeledon protects the portal demon that way, and the other guys say, well, we got the rat ult. So everybody kind of leaves happy, thinking they outsmarted the other guy.
And slightly favoring Monkey Madness, because that's one defensive and offensive engagement tool away from Skeeledon. So once his dart is down off cooldown, it's going to be easy target.
I like the build coming out from the Hades as well. Lifesteal on top of the lifesteal that Hades already has. It's not, so it's interesting. It's not lifesteal. Lifesteal and healing are very different. Andy's ability, Devour Souls, heals him, and then he gets lifesteal off of that as well. And Hades, just the nature of the character, he dashes in, being very aggressive. He's going to lose that HP, and as he loses, the Bancroft does more and more damage. Andy finds a kill off of it. Skeely very low, resurrected by the Khepri, who falls just before him. 8th kill for MM, and Hades owns half of them.
Just like that. Such easy kills when Wobbn doesn't have the meditation or the shell. Going for these offensive sunders is a big risk versus reward, just not paying off for the support out of Noble at all.
Yeah, I mean, he's just not even, that's one of the nice things about the Hades, that he's healing up, so you engage, you hit him with the Sunder, he heals, and then, as I said, the Bancroft passive, he's doing more damage as you focus him.
And there's a difference between Fafnir and Khepri's kits a little bit. Jigz playing this Fafnir has a more offensive mindset. His whole kit on Fafnir is just screaming aggression, so going Sunder on Fafnir makes a little bit more sense. But for Khepri, you want to be full defensive, you want to mitigate as much damage between your Rising Dawn, Scarab's Blessing as well, and then look for even more sustain with some of these defensive options. But a lot of these players just hasn't been, they've been on the Sunder chain.
I love the play to fineokay, I'm sorry. Skeeledon finds the kill onto fineokay, but his team picks up the Gold's Fury because fineokay's doing his job. Aquarius goes down, Jigz gets the last hit, big shot at a Homiefe right there in the middle lane. Skeeledon slinking back into the right side of the jungle. You know, it's actually really funny, Tolly. I had a conversation with another person, and I've been speaking very highly about fineokay lately. You know, and I said to myself, I was like, look, you know, I'll call the game as it comes, but I'm going to try to specifically not, oh, homie. Oh, homie just gets smoked.
Just a bait. Homie is fine. They force out the ultimate out of Wobbn. He's going to revive back into death.
Hades.
It's Hades.
Hades. Hades. But my point is, I sat there, I was like, look, I'm going to call the game as it comes, but I'm going to try not to be so high on fineokay. But when he's making plays like this, I mean, as a solo laner, Tolly, you have to be so happy with what you're seeing, making these selfless plays. I mean, right there, his team gets the Gold Fury. When people gank the solo lane, you go for Gold Fury. We all know that. But fineokay forced the enemy to commit to him. He rotates over to the mid lane, grabs 3 people, gets focused, pops in his ultimate, and his team is already doing gold. That's what you want your solo laner to do. It's not flashy, it's not exciting. He's just playing Sun Wukong annoying people, but they're not looking at the gold.
It's not just his playstyle, it's also about his choices mentally here. Jig's gonna get pulled, but he's gonna jump away into safety. For fineokay though, he's gotten into this item selection of going for the Gladiator Shield. More physical defense, considering that both MLC Stealth is only level 12 here. He doesn't have that much magical damage, and obviously Khepri doesn't have enough.
And he flanks from the backside. Oh, he actually might be in trouble, but Homiefe shows up and smacks him with the sword. Skeeledon goes down. Wobbn's next, thanks to andinster number 6 for the mid lane out of New Jersey. Andy, incredible play on the Hades pick. And look at the top damage. Over 2,000 just about. Above number 2, which is going to be his own jungler. Man, all those 3 members, everybody on MM are doing really well. Shout out to Jigz and Vetium, who are just sort of keeping the game going. But andinster, Homiefe, and fineokay have completely run this game for me, and you can tell in the player damage.
Between Homiefe ganking the solo lane, between andinster stealing that Gold Fury around 7-minute mark, and then fineokay's decision-making between going this Bumbas mask and this heavy physical defense, just absolutely baiting every cooldown imaginable here. It's no surprise to me that Monkey Madness, heading into the 15-minute mark, have themselves this 8,000 gold lead.
Yeah, you started to talk about his itemization choices, and, you know, when it comes down to it, we always like, everybody knows that Thoth is a late game god, so you don't have to really worry about him as early. So his build path, quote unquote, it's not set in stone. He's going to do different things for different scenarios, which is how everybody should play, but not many people do.
It doesn't look like Stealth is going to get more than 15,000 damage against his opposition this game around, because this Hades in the early to mid game here has just been doing so much work, and normally you don't see this much damage coming out of your mid laner. Normally you're seeing the fake damage coming out of your solo laner, the rotations from your jungler to be able to find a lot of ganks, but the plays here from andinster, he's just finding multiple targets with that Devourer of Souls every single time.
That's the key there, and the mid game is really where Hades shines. Once he gets about 2 or 3 items online, he's able to do a ton of work. And really, I mean, you saw what happened to Skeeledon. Skeeledon and Wobbn got caught, and Devourer Souls did half of Skeeledon's HP. The dash takes down Wobbn as well. He knows he's toast, has to ult himself. Here comes Skeely, though. That might help out. Andy is relatively low, 25. He's going to fall here if Skeely gets his way, but Homie gets his way first. Andy falls, thanks to the rotation from Wowy, but the double kill for Homiefe is one better.
The heal bought Andy enough time to find some more rotations. The Petrify is going to get negated by the Aegis. Wowy's getting dove under his own Phoenix. No ultimate for Wubbn available. That was a 1 for 3.
Takes 16 minutes in. Monkey Madness diving Phoenixes. Aquarius gonna jump up and down and find an ultimate, but quickly
They're not done.
runs
They're
to the
still
back
diving.
end.
They're still diving the Phoenix 4 for 1. Aquarius, he's going to be the victim of the last kill
Vetium.
for the Dia side. Monkey Madness just playing lights out as a unit.
I mean, this is a team, and I'm much more excited. It's interesting because fineokay just might fit this world better than Walrus did. I'm the biggest Walrus fan. But watching fineokay, enough about him and his individual play, but the way the team is playing around him is much different. Soar was, I won't say a full disappointment last year, but I got let down a little bit. I don't think they reached their potential with an all-star lineup like andinster, Homiefe, Jigz, right? I expected more than what we got. And the biggest negative to them was that they were inconsistent. Well, this type of gameplay is a game style that is consistent. You can bring this to multiple types of matches and still see victory. Wobbn shows up trying to contest. Totally. I don't think he's going to make it.
No, not at all. Skeeledon in the sky, landing onto Vetium. No defensive options for him between his feet and Aegis. Or Aegis was up, but no ultimate available.
Oh, Aquarius
going up and down. Mr. Crush not going to save it this time, buddy.
So Andy's over here trying to finish off Skeely, and he will. 7-2 and 4 for the mid laner. 20 in total for MM. Do you agree with me? Do you think that this game style for MM can be a little, wow, he gets a couple of kills I didn't expect, but I think the result's the same. Do you think MM can be more consistent with this style of play?
As long as they get the picks that they are very comfortable with, whether it's Jigz playing Fafnir, Annie playing this Hades pick, then absolutely, especially considering just how much early aggression that they got between invading buffs as well as protecting their own, because we saw fineokay recognizing, like, all right, Homiefe and andinster, they're going to be able to invade the enemy jungle, which means my jungle's going to be invaded, so let me go ahead and do my own blue buff to take away that option from Noble, not allow them to get too much gold. So not only are they playing offensively all throughout, but they have those defensive mindsets to be able to not give anything back to their opposition.
For me, the key here was Homiefe's decision making. I was talking a little bit about you were mentioning Andy's transition into the mid lane, and Andy was that mythical level jungler, right? He was just above and beyond. And his rotation to the mid lane, he's done well, but I don't think he's reached that mythical level of mid laner. If he plays every day like this, then maybe, sure, we can talk about it. But my point is, even if he does reach that point, which is looking more and more realistic, I'll always have that question about his decision making. You can go 100-0-0 with the jungle and still make the wrong moves. Portal Demon goes down to Noble. But Homiefe this game has made all of the right decisions. His ganking of the solo lane allowed fineokay to mature and make these rotations. Homiefe has not been the flashy guy this game, but he might deserve the MVP.
Skeeledon landing in the back, but gets instantly deleted. Vetium credited with that kill. The rest of Monkey Madness diving under that middle Phoenix yet again. Stealth going to be the second victim. fineokay zoning out three players, and then still goes through the Phoenix just to take one more shot.
Aquarius gets rezzed by the Khepri, ultimate out of the Hades, and not so impactful, but the dash forward from Vetium will be. That's 25 kills for MM here.
They got 2.5 deicides in the last 3 minutes. Monkey Madness just has not stopped any sort of aggression against Noble. They're really trying to close out this game, but they're not necessarily going for these objectives. They're just starting to group up, and they're catching anybody out of position and going to chase them down till the end of the world.
25 kills in 20 minutes. That's impressive.
It's like a ranked match almost.
It is. I mean, that's what's so entertaining about this one is that they're playing extremely well. They're just catching everybody. The ability for them to turn and burn. Aquarius shows up and dies as quickly as he's presented. Wowy taking shots to the back end. Jigz gonna cut him off on the front. But the blink forward from Andy. Scream and bleed. Andinster making it happen. Number 10. For Hades.
They're not done yet. Skeeledon caught between a rock and a hard place, getting chased by Homiefe and fineokay. They get dashed through, and Homiefe has been doing such a great job just baiting himself out in some of these situations.
And look at that, top damage for the Nemesis. It's a 3-man wrecking crew. It's a 3-man wrecking crew. And this is one of those games where you look at Jigz and Vetium down there on the low on the player damage charts, and it's not because they're doing poorly. They just can't find any shots because their teammates are killing everybody fast. Well, it's not even like they're not at the show. They're there waiting, and then all of a sudden, well, ouch, everybody's already dead. What are we supposed to do? I mean, I guess we'll go for the fire giant.
Well, they had a lot of desperation trying to get back into that game, but they had a deficit of about 14,000 plus around that 20-minute marker, so it wasn't looking too well for Noble, but they're going to sweep that one under the rug. They're going to head into game 2 and figure out how to bounce back because that was a pretty devastating loss.
That was a team win by MM against what looked like 5 individuals. That was really the problem for me. MLC was kind of silent in that game. More to the pick. I mean, Thoth is a late game god. What do you expect at 5 minutes from a Thoth? But we need to see more cohesion. Picks